Here are the top 15 most expensive quarter dollars that were sold at public auction in 2024. First up is one of my favorite series in the Standing Liberty Quarter, and a stunning example of the first year of issue of the 1916 quarter dollar, with a minute vintage of just 52,000 coins. It was one of the last coins to complete the transformation of American coinage from the St. Gordon's double eagle all the way down to the Lincoln cent. This example was graded by PCGS as MS66 with full head details, and in August it was sold by Heritage for $69,000. The 1929 Standing Liberty quarter dollar coin is not an issue you would automatically assume to be on a list like this, as it is a fairly common coin within the confines of the series. And yet, here we are. The key thing here with this particular coin is definitely the grade, as one of the finest known examples as an MS67 plus graded coin from PCGS with full head details. This coin is conditionally rare, as none finer are known. In August, Heritage was able to secure a final price at auction of $72,000. The current cap bust quarter dollar coin is simply extraordinary, listed as number 1 in the Tompkins as well as the Rhea, Peterson and Company's respective conditional census, and going as far back as 1990 when it appeared in a Superior Auctions listing. The cataloger then described it as one of the finest known bust quarters of them all, graded by NGC as MS67. Still in that old 4th gen NGC slab, it was sold by Stax Bowers in June for $72,000. The US Mint Seated Liberty 20 cent is the definition of something that looks good on paper but ends up as a disaster in reality. The double dime, as it was once called, was meant to alleviate the minor coin shortage in the western states, but it was too often confused with the quarter in circulation, and the series was ended after only 4 years. 1878 was that final year, with only 600 proof coins being minted. This example, graded by PCGS as Proof 67 Cameo, was sold at auction by Heritage in May for the amount of $84,000. The Carson City Mint started issuing coins for the first time in 1870, and amongst those issues was this Seated Liberty Quarter, today a key series rarity with a meager mintage of just 8,340 coins, practically all of which were desperately needed in circulation in the frontier economy. As a result, today, only a single coin is known to exist in a mint state grade, making a coin like this, graded by PCGS as XF45, even more desirable. In November, Stax Bowers was able to sell this coin at auction for $90,000. In order to introduce or describe the 1926 Denver Mint Standing Liberty Quarter, well, I could hardly improve on J.H. Klein when he said the 1926D is the classic in 2 categories, the most available and the most flat heads. A statement that still holds true today, but that is not applicable to this coin, a specimen that is exceptionally well struck and earned its chart-topping grade of MS67 with full head details from PCGS, to sell at auction in August for $90,000 by Heritage Auctions. The 1827 over 3 over 2 cap bust quarter dollar coin has one of the most bizarre and interesting stories to tell of, well, most any coin in the series. With a small original mintage of just 4,000 coins, it soon became extremely sought after by collectors. And decades later, with the rise of the so-called midnight minters, under the influence or even perhaps the supervision of infamous mint director Henry Lindemann in the mid-1870s, a number of restrikes were then produced using the original mint dies retrieved from storage. Although the reverse dies were replaced or perhaps mismatched, as evidenced by the square base on the 2 in the date as opposed to the fancy or curled base 2 used on the original 4,000 coins. In addition to this, the old dies had become heavily corroded and pitting marks appear on both sides from the dies having rusted over the decades in storage. This restrike of the 1827 over 3 over 2 capped bust quarter dollar is the former Reed Horn specimen and is graded by PCGS as proof 64, and at auction in August by Stax Bowers it was sold for $114,000. Due to the US Mint not recording the official mintage figures of early proof coins, we simply do not know how many 1828 proof quarters were actually minted, but it does seem unlikely to have been more than a dozen or so. Today, only 6 examples can be traced, including this proof 65 example from PCGS, which was offered at auction in June by Great Collections for $118,125. 1877 was a proof-only issue for the short-lived 20-cent coin, with a reported mintage of 510 coins, as the 20-cent coin was not sold individually as a proof issue by the mint, but was only available to purchase in 1877 as a part of a silver proof set. This example of the coin is graded by PCGS as proof 66 deep cameo and was sold by Heritage Auctions in May for the sum of $132,000. Every series has its unique little peculiarities and strike deficiencies that you need to keep an eye out for. Full steps on the Jefferson nickel, full bands on the Mercury dime, and so on. Just so, we want to see full head details on the Standing Liberty quarter, and this 1919D quarter delivers that in spades. A brilliant example of the issue that was graded by PCGS as MS66 Plus with full head designation as well, which was then sold at auction in August by Heritage for the amount of $132,000. 1796 was the first year in which the US Mint was able to strike one of each denomination as prescribed by the Mint Act of 1792, including the first year of issue for these new quarter dollars or 25 cents. Here we have a surviving example of that original mintage of just 6,146 coins. Graded by PCGS as AU58, it was offered at auction in January during Heritage's Fun US Coins auction, where it sold for the sum of $156,000. 1861 is an interesting year for the US Mint proof coins. The Mint finally realized that not only was there in fact collector demand for proof coins, but that they could actually make money from selling them, instituting a 13-cent proofing fee in the previous year. That additional cost burden, as well as the outbreak of the Civil War, led to 600 of the originally minted 1,000 coins being unsold and melted down at the end of the year. The survivor of that net mintage of 400 coins is today graded by PCGS as proof 68 cameo, and in May it was sold by Heritage Auctions for $156,000. A spectacular and arguably one of the best known varieties for the Standing Liberty series is this 1918 over 7 overdate variety from the San Francisco Mint. Despite how fairly obvious the variety seems to be, the first published account of it, at least as far as I'm aware, is only as late as 1937, perhaps serving as a good indication of just how rare this variety actually is. Looking to the date where you can clearly see the undertype 7 under the 8 of the date. This superb example was graded by PCGS as MS65 and sold by Great Collections in February for $182,812. In 1876, the writing was on the proverbial wall for the doomed 20-cent coin. After the Carson City Mint had already minted 10,000 coins of the denomination, an order was received from the director of the mint to stop all 20-cent production and destroy or melt down any and all unissued 20-cent coins. At the same time, the Carson City Mint had not released any of the coins, and effectively the entire 10,000 coin mintage was destroyed in one foul swoop. Today, there are probably fewer than 20 coins left that managed to escape the melting pot, making it one of the rarest coins in US history. This example was graded by PCGS as MS65 and offered at auction in August by Heritage, and by auction's close had sold for the sum of $690,000. Subscribe to WNN and feel free to watch another video about the most expensive half-dollar coins to have sold in 2024 next, right here. For the World Numismatic News, I am Numisman saying thank you for watching, keep collecting, and have a fantastic day.